I have bad news for you. This is only the beginning. And why? Well, because we are at a crossroads in the nation. People are longing to be free, and they have seen disturbing attempts to subvert their freedoms and impose on their lives. When people have lost their jobs, are living in states where there's draconian measures, they've been told to shut their business down, and they've been told to pipe down because you want to kill grandma. Meanwhile, people like Cuomo are actually killing grandma and grandpa. When people have done everything they can and actually started, in my example, started from the premise that, yeah, Donald Trump probably was working with the Russians. Yeah, well, if he was doing something, he should go to jail. And then actually did the work and found out the exact opposite was true. And the more you found out, the more you realized the entire government seemed to be in on it. The FBI knew that this was a plan from Clinton. They knew it, and they did nothing. And when you expose it, no one goes to jail. When people feel as though their voice is being silenced, that even their own representatives from their own party treat them like garbage, when they've been called racist, bigots, when they've been called conspiracy theorists over things like the Hunter Biden laptop, that now the press says, oh, I guess there is something there. But we all feel that nothing will ever happen. What are they supposed to do? Now, let me make this very clear. They are not supposed to get violent. We have a right of free speech, of petitioning our government. We have a right to demand answers. But we don't destroy the Capitol. We don't, I feel horrible saying this, but I have to say it if I'm to be consistent. I, for years, have talked about this. And the last summer, 90 days of violence, burning things down, challenging, pushing cops, not obeying the law, not obeying a cop. We told you, if you are running and the cop says stop, you stop. Otherwise, you could get shot and killed. This woman that was killed in the Capitol, shot by police officers, was she obeying? Stop. Don't come in. Don't do this. She's trying to get into the floor of the house. She's shot. I don't think she deserved to die. I don't think she should have been shot. In my opinion, there's no justification of shooting through a door at somebody. But she was trying to go into the House of Representatives. The people on the other side of the door had no idea if these people were armed or anything. For consistency's sake, I have to say the same thing that I said over the summer. Obey the police. But what do people do when the institutions that are supposed to address matters lawfully don't. What do people do when they feel like nobody's listening to me? I mean, this is why I was in support of what Senator Cruz was doing, Chris Stewart was doing, saying, look, give us 10 days. 10 days and a hearing. I don't know this for a fact. Well, I do from Chris Stewart, because I've talked to him about it. Chris knew that this isn't going to change anything. It's not going to change the outcome because there's no time. And there's no trigger or mechanism in the Constitution. So it's not going to change anything except one very important thing. You take the charges from half the country seriously. And you seriously consider them. You listen. Nobody wants to do that. You're a conspiracy theorist. Shut up. Sit down. Why won't people hear a case, consider evidence? Why the double standard? Why, when Hillary Clinton was sharing on her own private server confidential top secret documents, nothing happens to her, but a guy who takes a picture of the inside of a submarine for his kid, nothing sensitive, just breaking the law, taking a picture of inside of a U.S. submarine, he goes to jail. Nothing happens to Hillary Clinton. You can't do that. You can't do that. Don't talk to me about the rule of law unless you're willing to apply the rule of law equally. Now, I can talk about the rule of law because I'm consistent. And quite honestly, so is the audience. 90 days, you did nothing. You said nothing. Oh, man, didn't take you 90 days. It took you about 2.5 minutes to start calling these people seditious, terrorists. Where the hell were you with Antifa? I was saying those people should be arrested, and it was wrong. Today, those people who went in, tore up our Capitol, broke the windows, put their feet up on people's desks, destroyed public property, they should be arrested. But I think the left should be arrested as well. What do people do with double standards and corruption? What do people do when the rule of law is corrupted by so many bad actors in nearly every institution that people feel powerless? When they see massive investigations launched by Congress, when Trump makes a phone call to Ukraine, but when real corruption with far more evidence and consequence, like voter fraud, Hunter Biden, or the real story of Ukraine, when that's completely ignored, what do you do when the system is no longer followed? What do you do? Because you've always been told, you were raised to believe in America, that America answers to the people. When you can't trust anything because it's shady, fraudulent, illegal, and nobody cares, when you can't trust anyone, you can't trust your own party, you can't trust the other party, you can't trust any politician, you can't trust the courts, you can't trust the Supreme Court, you can't trust everybody in the administration, you can't trust the police, you can't trust the DOJ, you can't trust the FBI, you can't trust the military, you can't trust your own schools and your teachers. What do? There is no excuse for what happened yesterday, but there are reasons it happened. And unless and until we have a serious conversation about what started that, it wasn't Donald Trump. Donald Trump is an effect. He is not the cause. He's an effect. This is not going to be the last time this happens, God forbid. Today, I plead with you. Let's be adults. And let's talk about it. Anger and fear will get us nowhere. I give up, I surrender to the tactics of the left. If we become everything we despise, we are truly done as a nation.